Hey, what's happening, everybody? Happy Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, wherever you're watching this. Thank you for coming out and hanging out with us on Wednesday Night Conversation. Every week, or every show, we get to have interesting conversations with some of the people within our community of the NGBF of the ship. So, I'm excited about our guests today. We've started interviewing some of our current college students, and this week we have I guess, former college student. I think, you know what? Former college student, and it's amazing. And even though I noticed, like, I am like the way that time flies by, I just I I'm so confused about time because this person was just in youth ministry. In fact, I remember meeting with this individual before they came into youth ministry and say, you know what? I see God's hand on your life. Clearly, God has made you a leader, and I want to be able to do all I can to invest in you. That's what I told her. I told her parents that. And that was probably almost 10 years ago. So again, everybody, I'm so confused on the time. So I'm not going to delay bringing this student on. This grown person on stage now. So, ladies and gentlemen, she hails from Garland, Texas. Now she's in Houston. Houston came up, and Garland, we lost a little bit when she moved down there. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Arnetta Jackson.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's happening?
Nothing much, nothing much. Trying to get used to this adult life.
Listen, we didn't even talk about this when we were preparing for this conversation. Only when I was introducing you, I know you heard it. I was like, oh snap! Like, wait a minute, it's no way, Arnetta. That was when I first came to the church, man.
I was in TNT Girls. Yep. And you would come by and you would talk to me and a few of the other girls. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and clearly I was like, God's got his hand on her. She's an amazing leader. Oh man, and it was you and Zaria that I met with in Wendy's that time.
Yeah.
It's just like y'all too clearly. I see that God's got his hand on y'all in terms of leadership and all that good stuff. And I tried my best to pour into you as leader. I don't know how I did. We'll find out about that later on. So you graduated from what high school did you go to?
I went to Garland High School.
Yeah, you went to Garland High School, and then you left us.
I was there. I stayed for about 2 years. And then my dad was like, when OC graduates, both y'all got to get out. I was like, all right.
First of all,
made sure my plan was effective.
Yeah.
And got on out.
Listen, and shout out to OC and Sharon Jackson. Like, I watch your parents, the way that they raised you all, and some of the things that they instilled in y'all. And Terry and I have added that to the Earl's playbook of parenting.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, because it was one time something happened with your car. What was it that happened to your car, and you knew exactly what to do? I was like, get it, OC.
There have been many different things going on with that car, especially since I moved to Houston. I feel like it gave me the worst problems ever when I moved, and I'm like, what is going on? I don't have my dad down here.
Yeah,
this stuff costs money. But they always help. But it just depends. There was a couple of times when something may have been going on with my tire, or something may have been going on with my oil, where I would have to add oil back into the car, or just check the oil and different things like that. But he made sure he taught me a lot of things.
That's
I can
good.
always brag and say I started mowing the lawn when I was still in private school.
Absolutely. Man, OC, you crushed it, brother. You absolutely
Yep.
crushed it. Sharon, too. I'm just saying, from man to man, the dude
Mhm.
he crushed it. I remember teaching Alex how to change a spare tire. And I was thinking about
Mhm.
OC. It's like, yeah,
Yep.
you're going to be like Arnada in this piece.
That and make sure you check your air pressure in your tires.
Yeah.
Check that with you.
That is great. And OC a
Mhm.
country boy. So, well, yeah, I'm quite sure you know how, you know.
That man is a country bumpkin. Okay. Nothing surpasses that man.
I didn't know that at first. I didn't know that.
Oh
I was like,
man. He's
woo.
country.
But
And my
but
mom will
North Garland
always
is
joke
full
about
of a bunch of country dudes in there.
it. Yep.
It's a bunch of country dudes who love, the backwoods and know how to,
Hmm.
love going to the range and all hunting and all that good stuff.
Yep. That is him.
So which Father's Day is coming up. So shout
Yes.
out to you, OC.
Mhm.
And mom ain't no slouch either though. Yeah.
No, she was in there. She was
Absolutely.
in there. Yep.
Absolutely. All right. So you went down after 2 years. You
Mhm.
went down to Houston to finish up school.
Yes. So as of right now, I'm just waiting to get into nursing school. So I finished all of my prerequisites.
Right.
And so for like the past year or so, I have been just applying to different nursing schools down here,
Yeah.
which is just annoying and just a whole different basket in itself, because
Right.
all the different schools want different things. They want different tests, they want different exams, they want different classes, they want different scores. So it's just, one thing after another. But I did just apply to an LVN program,
Okay.
which, that'll take me the long route to get to my master's degree, which is what I do want to get.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of schools down here have a BSN program, which I would skip like 3 steps. But since I haven't gotten into any of those programs, I am going to at least apply for an LVN program because I don't want to have to retake any of my classes whenever they expire.
Right.
So
But
I at least want to get into a program. And then I can always bridge and then do my associate and bachelor's and then
yeah.
master's. Hmm.
Yeah. And man, perseverance is not just something that's inside you because of Christ, which is most important, but
Yeah.
also you got strong examples of how to persevere
Yeah.
to your folks. So the
Mhm.
Jacksons don't quit, like give me what you
Mhm.
got. We can
Yep.
handle it.
Yep.
That's good
We'll, we'll,
stuff.
we'll cry through it and then we'll,
Right.
we'll get through it and then we keep going.
But let me just tell you, as a dad with daughters, that one of the greatest things that I desire to see with my daughters and my sons is the ability to work through obstacles and jump over those obstacles.
Mhm.
Like, we know y'all have a great foundation because of the families that y'all grew up in and the way that God has allowed us to raise y'all. But the question is, man, just like a person will be weary till rested, love will always be a theory till tested. We can say we love
Mhm.
the Lord all we want, that he can hold us, but when that joint gets tested, that's what we'll see.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
true.
that's like, so it's as a parent and just as a former youth pastor, seeing you all work through obstacles is great. Everybody can say they want to be successful, which most people do. But the question becomes, what do you do when challenges come? How do you
Yeah.
handle those obstacles?
Yeah.
So, and so you down there. So tell me this. What has it been like being, and you just gave us a little bit, what has it been like being on your own?
I do enjoy it.
Because you
For the
don't have any
most part.
rules. You don't got to, it's your rules.
Yes, and I'm in I like being able to come to my little bitty 500 square feet apartment and
Yeah.
just be me, and
Yeah.
be able to cook, clean what I want, eat what I want. I still make sure I eat healthy because that's been instilled in me forever, and I don't think it's ever going to go away. um, but for the most part, it's actually nice. Other than like you said, when life hits you, when you gotta when different obstacles come your way, you have to deal with those. I mean, it's just the way it is. Even with money, paying bills, make sure you're paying them on time.
Yeah.
and all those other things. Yeah, it can be tough, but I actually enjoy it.
Yeah. So here's what's impressive to me. And what another thing that encourages my soul.
Mhm.
Uh, there's this reality that, man, the more streams of income you can have, the better you're
Mhm.
able to establish, wealth.
Yeah,
And so you're working, you have a job, which is
full
great. Praise the
time.
Lord. Yeah, full time. Come on. But
Yes,
everybody listening, Arnada also has a second job, side hustle,
yes.
her own business. It's more than just a
Hmm.
side hustle. Man, you
Yeah.
got your own business. You've got this
Hmm.
entrepreneur uh,
Yeah.
itch that you're scratching, and this
Yes.
is this is impressive to me. So tell us about. I don't want you to put your job out there because I don't
Hmm.
want some dude showing up at your job. Then OCB coming down there. Then I got to meet him down there, and we got to wreck some shop.
Yep.
Then we'll be in jail.
I don't want that.
Right? Yeah, yeah. And neither does Terry and the six Earls kids.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So we're not going to talk about your job and your place
Hmm.
of employment, but tell us about this side hustle, this business that you have.
Man. So I think a lot of people know that I've always, been into hair and have worn wigs for the longest. So that's never been, a surprise to anyone. Um, but whenever COVID hit, and me and my mom would always have these conversations about, nursing school, and then she would always bring back up my wigs, and how I'm really good with, working with hair and coming up with different styles and different things like that. And then since she put the little nugget in my ear, then here comes my dad, and then here came my aunts and my uncles. I was like, let me just start this so they could just stop talking.
Come on, village.
um, and so, I do, of course, all the research on, how to start it and, different things that you'll need, specifically geared towards, making wigs. And so then from there, you have to make sure you have all the paperwork that's right. You have all the supplies that you need. And then once I got everything started, it was just like a waiting game. But even though I was waiting, I still had other stuff that I was doing, still coming up with different styles, still, managing the YouTube because I have a YouTube channel that I put
Okay.
weeks on weekly. So make sure I have content for that and editing that. Let me tell you, I am not tech savvy at all, but I had
Yeah.
to learn so much about these MacBooks and these iPhones, about taking pictures, recording. So that was a whole nother job in itself.
What's the YouTube page?
The
YouTube.
YouTube page is Perplexing Beauty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
let's go here first. Let me show because you have a website. I want to show
Hmm.
everybody that.
I have the website, the
Yeah.
YouTube, the Instagram, the Facebook, the TikTok,
Come
all
on.
of it. So it is another job in itself. I will say, being an entrepreneur, it's tough. It's exciting, and you still have that drive to go forward and do it. But it can be stressful. It can be annoying, and also being creative can be a task because you want to make sure you're not putting out the same stuff over and over. You want to make sure that your business brings something different to the table compared to other people.
Yeah.
There was that whole trend going around saying, oh, just because everyone else is doing it, they haven't gotten, a little bit of how you do it,
Hmm.
and so I just always have to remember, that and, keep pursuing it and keep going through with it. But for the most part, it is exciting because, like you said, I do love creating. Um, I do love being artsy and being crafty. So if there's something that I can remake, I'll try to go for it and do it, or I'll try something new. I do believe in YouTube teaching you a lot of stuff. A
YouTube
lot of
University.
a
Absolutely.
lot of my skills come from YouTube. I just
Yeah.
watch the video and just recreate
Wow.
it or just redo it.
But
Um,
the beauty of what I love about creation is like it's like all of us humans are made in the image of God,
mhm.
and God created creativity.
Yes,
And so
right.
when the more like the more we're creative, the more that aspect of our lives reflects who God is.
Mhm.
So like for me, it's coming up with, like with preaching, it's coming up with different creative ways to communicate truth.
Yeah.
Like how can we take this truth and make it creative, not taking
Mhm.
away from its potency of the scriptures, but putting it another way. And that's how I started doing stand-up comedy, actually.
Mhm.
And most people don't notice I started doing stand-up comedy by doing characters. So
Ah.
so I love Martin growing up. Martin, the Martin
Mhm.
show when I was in high school, and I could do the voices and everything.
Mhm.
And so one day at my church, we had a talent show, and so everybody who had some talent that they didn't normally show on Sunday participated in this talent show. Let me tell you something, Arnada. It was the craziest thing. Like, yo, I didn't know that person could do that. I didn't know that person could do that. So I decided to write a skit. I did old Otis from Martin.
Mhm.
But I tied a Bible principle to it, taught the Bible passage, and I got me a wig. Boom, talk about perplexed beauty. And I actually got this just for you right now. So this the wig I bought when I started doing that character.
Oh my goodness.
You know. So I don't
You
know if
got
you
the
could
little pixie wig going on.
so I don't know how you would rate this wig and the way I got it on. But this I
It's a
would put
mouthful.
this on. Yeah. So I did all, and I had another I would do Jerome too. So I had like
Mhm.
a curly old school one of them old school dudes. Uh like if your dad had an afro, like what his would look like. That's what I'm just
Mhm.
messing with you, OC. Yeah, so I don't know if you could make like some comedy wigs. I don't do those characters anymore,
Uh,
but maybe could you hook up an afro wig?
I
That's
could, yeah.
when I need a
Some
haircut. Like,
curly
what, I
hair.
can get a haircut.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw this perplexing beauty.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
Yeah,
So that, yep. Get you
that's
some
cool.
cornrows going back. Make sure it's nice and flat,
That's
and
funny,
pop the wig
man.
on.
So let's talk about uh, something that I saw. So you left, moved away from home,
Mhm.
and next thing I know, pandemic happens,
Mhm.
and Terry and I show up at church, and of course, we always speaking to people, and we got in the car. It's like, man, who was that lady? It was another lady in there. She was just as nice. She'd be like, we know her, like we talked like we knew her, but I don't know who it was. And then I was like, that was Arnada. Oh snap! What?
Yeah, that was
Arnada
me.
went away, came back with a mask, and I thought, now, and it wasn't just the mask that made me and Terry think that you were just one of the adults in the church, but the way that you were serving,
Mhm.
the way that you were um, just volunteering in the service, is like you didn't posture yourself as somebody who need to be told what to do,
Mhm.
but you were on post watching, and I watched how you were interacting with people. I'm like, man, who is this young who is this woman in here? And come to find out, it's one of the old youth. And I'm like, man, okay, I really want to know what would cause and I'm guessing you mid 20s now. So what would a young
Mhm.
early, yeah, because you Aaron's 20, so you like 25, whatever. What would cause a 25, 26-year-old to come to a church, stand on post with all these um older saints, older people in the body
Mhm.
of Christ, and serve the way that you did? Like, explain that to me, please.
So for the longest, people have told me I have an old soul. I've gotten that from patients, whenever I worked at the assisted living, I get that from, residents who were there or patients that I take care of now.
Yeah.
And so, Yeah, they've always said I've had I have an old soul, or I have some wisdom,
Yeah.
in this brain somewhere. um, but I've always really been into serving, community service, whatever it is, helping out other people, and so that's always been something that I've enjoyed doing. So anytime anyone needs my help, I'm always there if I'm available. Or if I'm just in town and someone hits me up like, "Hey, can you help out?" Yeah, I'm always available to help out whenever I'm in town, and just be around people that I know. And so
Yeah.
it's never really been difficult for me. Even when I was living in Dallas and I was had the dance ministry, I always enjoyed doing that. Being creative and choreographing dance with Rachel and Kana, that's always been,
Yeah.
exciting. And, helping out the younger children, being an image that, they could not necessarily look up to, but see someone that they could possibly, relate to in a sense.
Right.
And so, that's always been something that's just been in me. It's not really
Yeah.
hard for me to just get up and just serve.
Right.
It's there. There may be some anxiety there, but
Yeah.
it's there.
Right. So how would you what advice would you give to some of the older people watching who are either part of our church or they're part of another church, and they will say, "Man, we feel like missing. We feel like what's missing is your generation, your age group, that 21 to 20 29. I don't know how old are you? If you
I'm
don't
23.
23, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that 21 to 20, 28, 29 age group, like what can we do as an older generation before you all generations before you, what can we do to encourage more 23, 25, 27, 29-year olds to come be around and serve and use y'all's gifts?
Yeah. So I would say be open minded, because a lot of people close to my age, we have a lot of different ideas coming out. And so with being open minded, you just allow that person to be creative in their own way to, help serve and help, um, minister, or, be a blessing to other people. Because with different ideas, I mean, I know sometimes with the older generation, there's like they like doing things one way and not necessarily venturing out into other ways. And so sometimes if that's not that younger person's idea, or if they know that there's a better way to communicate something towards other people, even
Yeah.
people our age, or even people who were older than us, we have a different way of coming up with another idea. So being open-minded, yes. Don't be judgmental about the ideas, and
What do
always,
you mean by judgmental about the ideas?
well, because some ideas that we may have, some people might not look at them as being so and so Christian, even though it has nothing to do with being, I guess, being a Christian way of having an idea. Does that make sense?
It
Or do I need
does.
to?
But I'm a challenge you a little bit just for the older folks. Listen, I get what you're
Mm-hmm.
saying,
Mm-hmm.
but what if, again, like you say, man, we've always done it this way. You coming in
Mm-hmm.
with this new stuff, and I already have an issue with some
Mm-hmm.
of the things that your culture doing. So
Mm-hmm.
if you bringing in this, are you bringing in the world system with the church? And you're saying,
So what I will say is this, because I know some people will ask me, and I'll try to tie it in. But I know that with the world that we live in today, even when I have to study my Bible, or anywhere, or anytime I have to explain something to other people, I try to make sure that you take the information in and apply it to your life. You don't have to take everything in. Just take what you need here and there. And
yeah,
if the older people have a suggestion, we can blend it in. It doesn't have to
right,
be my way completely. We can mesh different ideas that come together and keep Christ in it, and take whatever else we don't need and then present it.
yeah,
So yeah,
it's
no, I wouldn't bring in the whole worldly concept of worldly. No,
right.
that's
I
crazy.
know you wouldn't. I was just
Yeah,
for some of the
but
older people listening. I
mhm,
just wanted to be able to say that because I know that's what
mhm,
we think sometimes. Here
mhm,
now, let's have this real. Like I know we're having a real conversation,
mhm.
but I don't even want you to like. Don't hold back. Take off the gloves.
Okay.
Do you think, like, how did I do as a youth pastor with that? Do you think I listened to y'all like a lot, or
Yes.
did I
Yeah.
like?
Yes, you did. You would actually listen to us. You would give us different ideas and different inspiration, different things. Because remember, whenever we were in, this was past youth group, we were in Sunday school, and we were talking about ministering. And me and Rachel were in the class, and that's when me and her really started discussing the dance ministry and bringing
Yeah,
it and bringing Selah to the whole
right.
idea and the picture it was. And so we just continued it. So that was, I think, speaking with you, that they're listening to you lead Sunday school that day, was the inspiration and the push that we needed to go forward. So yeah, you did an amazing job with that. And
Yeah,
so
I'm that's one way I ask you that, not for
mhm,
selfish reason, but really evaluating. Because if that's how
mhm,
you feel, and this 28 and under group feel this
mhm,
way, I wanted that, because I know it's one thing that y'all really tried to push me on, and I
mhm.
wasn't trying to hear it. And that's a doggone lock-in. I was like, no, I am not trying to hear a lock-in. And y'all
Yeah.
asked me forever, like, can we do a lock-in? I'm like, no,
Mhm,
no, I don't want to do a lock-in. Then I finally said, okay, if y'all plan it, we would
mhm.
do it. And y'all jokers playing that lock-in. I was like, shoot.
Yeah, a lot of times whenever we have ideas, a lot of times we may have already planned out that idea. And so as soon as you say yes, here's the plan. Here's the plan. Here's the step by step of how it should go or how it can go. And if we need to make a little adjustment here and there, we can make some adjustments. But yeah.
Yeah, that's funny, man. Because there's one pastor and up in Seattle, pastors a large church, and I've been part of that church for a while. He said that he want to create a culture where we learn how to fail forward. In
Mm-hmm.
other words, like let's continue to try some things, and it's
Mm-hmm.
okay to fail as long as we failing forward and learning
Yeah,
some
because you
things, so we're
learn
not
from
getting
it
stuck.
and then you can adjust it and move forward. Yeah,
Right. Let's
completely.
try the idea, and if it don't work, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
work. But let's not just sit around, doing the same old thing.
Yeah, and
That's
saying,
cool.
no going back and forth because it's not going to help progress
So
anything
so
forward.
would you say that if, let's say, if things are always done the same way
Mm-hmm.
for no obvious biblical reason,
Mm-hmm.
that stuff kind of turns your generations off?
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it kind of turns us off or deters us away. We make it bored of it after a while, and then it just seems repetitive. And some people are okay with doing the same thing over and over. That's perfectly
Yeah.
fine. But sometimes we like for there to be engaging activities with
Right.
each other or with other people. Or right now, a lot of people are enjoying going to seminars or being interactive,
Yeah.
learning new things. So there can always be an event, cater to that. Whether it's bringing in, like for me, entrepreneur, one thing I'm really trying to get into is networking. So looking for different entrepreneur events I could go
Right.
to and listen to someone speak and have them encourage me in different ways. That's something that I'm currently looking for. And then also, like I said, with the different idea things, that could help bring more people to church that are our age.
Yeah.
Um, and then of course always, giving them the opportunity to, sing in the choir. That's always, encouraging for them because that's something we enjoy doing, was singing the choir and singing the songs that we grew up on that we always enjoy listening to. It doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily have to be, the new age songs that people are listening to. Sometimes it's a lot of the older songs that we enjoy listening to. Like whenever I put on Pandora and I want to listen to my different gospel stations, Marvin Sapp is the very first one I go listen to.
listen,
That's the
listen.
very first one I go listen to.
Listen,
Yes.
when I'm going through, or man, when I'm feeling challenged and I don't go to some of the new stuff. I go like,
Mm-mm.
man, give me some doggone Jay Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Mississippi Mass Choir. That's
Yep. There you go.
like, that's the stuff. Like, yeah, that's what I
Mm-hmm.
need. Oh, praises be. Anyway,
Yes.
yeah, because I am, and you know me, I'm all about. I feel like I'm right in the middle. Because I
Yeah.
see the value of, even as a creative, there's a book, and you probably need to get it. There's a book called, it's not a Christian book, but it's a creative art book
Okay.
called The Creative Habit. And
Okay.
one thing that artist talks about is sometimes, like as creative people, we got to be creative. God made us to be creative,
Hmm.
and sometimes doing the same thing over and over again
Hmm.
helps us to become even more creative. Having those certain systematic things. So there's value in doing the same thing over and over again,
Hmm.
but then also there's great value and bringing about change and stuff. So it's a
Yeah.
matter of having discernment of seeing what needs to change and what
Hmm.
needs to remain consistent.
Hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
just I don't know. I become a little like I guess sociology nerd and like hearing what different generations think about that stuff.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me this: what has clearly again God has His hand on your life? How has God used? We talked about your parents a little bit. Well, let's we gave OC a real good shout out,
Hmm.
but I also want to shout out your mom Sharon because when you first told me about your business, what was it? A few months ago,
Hmm.
you told me how man it's like you said this, which was so sweet. You said me and my mom, and I
Hmm.
thought Doggett Jackson's once again. There y'all go, showing the Earls family how to help your kids start their entrepreneur business and creating like a beginning partnership. And I like,
Yeah.
yeah, explain that because y'all, we
So
need to hear this. This is beautiful.
So I remember in the beginning, so mom, so with the four in my family of four, you have me and my dad who are the creative ones.
Yeah,
We can come up with an idea and execute and everything, and then you have my mom, my brother, and they have ideas, but sometimes they can't execute them. So they'll
yeah,
tell you this brilliant plan, and you ask them, "Okay, we gonna do it?" And they're like, "That's not for me. That's for you to do it." I'm like, "Uh-huh." So
yeah,
so my mother has been named what did I name her? I gave her the title of creative director because she has all these creative ideas. But then I have to go back behind her and think about the process and if it'll work for my business or not.
yeah,
Or she'll give me different critiques on wigs that I make, or she'll send me pictures of different wigs that she thinks that I should try making. And whenever she comes out here to visit me, she's helping me with the business. Or whenever I go down to Dallas and I take my equipment, my photography lights and stuff like that, she's right there next to me, helping me, style the mannequin, put the wig on the mannequin. That stuff takes hours, okay?
yeah,
That stuff takes about 4 or 5 hours to do pictures. But yeah, she's standing right there. We're trying to get perfect shots. But yeah, she's been my right hand woman, my right hand person when it comes to the business. I've bounced different ideas off of her, to sort of get an idea of what I should and shouldn't do and
right.
what could help. Especially since my target audience for my business are older women who are closer in her age.
Got you.
So I try to, get an aspect what she thinks. And of course she asks her friends and her family what they think of different ideas. And then she'll bring them back to me. So, she's right there helping me with everything. Yep. Hmm.
Man, it's funny that you say what you said about her being the creative person and I mean the ideal person and you're being the I guess executor.
Hmm.
There's this great book I read about being an entrepreneur and creative person. It's called Rocket Fuel. Here it is right here.
Okay,
This
let me write that
book,
down.
Arnada, is absolutely amazing. That's what's funny is I don't think I've ever talked about so many books in a conversation. I'll bring up the other book in a minute. But man, this book right here, Rocket Fuel, it's when I read it, I was reading it, I was listening to it, and I stopped listening to it, ordered two copies, one for me and one for Terry. I came in the house. I was coming off the road. I went up to Oklahoma. I walked in the house at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not a morning person. Terry is the morning person. She wakes
Hmm.
up and she starts instantly talking about everything that needs to be done this week, next week, all this stuff. And I'm like, girl, go back to sleep or slow down. And it's the opposite. Like, so I'm the night owl. So at night, she's trying to go to sleep. And I'm like, hey, let's check this out. Tomorrow, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do next week. And she like, dude, will you go to sleep, please? But this book right here, Rocket Fuel, and I never, so it talks about, it takes two different types of people to run an organization. Mm-hmm. It takes a visionary. The visionary is the one who has all these ideas, who gets vision. And then you have the other type of person who's called an integrator, mm-hmm. who like, and the integrator is the one who is the nuts and bolts. Here's how we're going to take this visionary's idea and get this stuff done. And I never forget, I didn't know this. Somebody called it rocket fuel, but I remember years ago, I was working at Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship, Dr. Tony Evans, and the assistant pastor name was Martin Hawkins. And this is super creative. Check this out. He said, Dr. Hawkins, he and I were talking. He said, Dr. Evans is a visionary. He'd come in this room and say, y'all, I see in this room a table. And at this table, we'll all come and sit. And this is where we begin to do ministry, strategize. People come from all over the world, sit at this table. And the table looks like this. It has these 4 legs. It looks like this. And everybody be like, whoa, yes. And he's like, but you don't want him building the table. And he was like, that's why I'm here. I am here to build a table and to help organize all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Because if he was to build a table, then the ideas wouldn't come, the vision wouldn't come.
Yeah. And
if he tried to build a table, the table would never get built.
Yeah.
And people like, man, that's my saw. You know, give that. So sometimes people have the ideas, but it's also, as creative people, we got to make sure that we align ourselves with those people who have those administrative gifts and putting that stuff together.
Yeah, that helps tremendously, especially when I'm busy with different aspects of the business, and then my mom helps with an idea, or she comes with an idea that can help me. Yeah. So that always helps, and I always, enjoy that nugget here and there. So I had to make sure I write down a sticky note so I don't forget it.
That's good stuff.
So yeah, she helps, and of course my dad helps. My dad may sprinkle a little knowledge here and there because he's creative also. But he'll sprinkle a little knowledge here and there, and I got to figure out, if it can help me and if it'll apply to me. And then I got to be like, yeah, Dad, that's a no. And then he'd be like, well, why not? Why can't it work? And then I'll explain it to him why it doesn't work. And then he'd be like, I still think it could work. And I'm like, okay, you can try it for yourself, but I'm not trying it.
So let me ask you this. Man, you're 23 years old. Mm-hmm. It seems like you enjoy the relationship with your parents.
I do. And, that took some time to build, here and there.
Yes. Yeah. Talk to us. Yes. This is what we need. This is what I need to know. Go ahead.
I grew up as a daddy's girl.
Yeah.
And then throughout high school, me and my mom would always clash here and there. But I remember younger, me and her would always have fun shopping. But then once I got to high school, when I got into these different activities, even in middle school, got into different activities. And then my mom switched to work at night shifts. Okay. So whenever I would come home, she'd be getting ready to go to work. And then when I'm leaving school in the morning, she's coming home going to sleep. Yeah. So we didn't really see much of each other a lot of times. And then in high school, when being on the step team, I'd be gone on the weekends. So I would see my mom, yes, but it wouldn't be as often. And so anytime we would talk, it wouldn't always lead to an argument, but there would be little petty arguments here and there. And so we would clash. We would clash a lot. Yeah. And I want to say it was same to my brother. For my brother, he was a mama's boy. So they got along great. And then, me and my dad got along great. And then it started like switching. So now, but growing up, my brother and my dad would always clash. Now they're like best of buds, and then me and my mom are best of buds. Yeah. So, of course I'm still great with my dad, but I think the turning point for me and my mom was whenever I was supposed to leave to go to TWU. Uh-huh. And she was like, no, we're not taking out a loan to go to college. You're staying home. I was furious. Yeah. Okay, because I wanted to leave. I was upset. I was just mad.
Yeah.
And so I would actually make myself busy so I wouldn't have to talk to her because
Mm.
I was upset. And
Yeah.
that lasted for maybe about 3 months. You know, I would make, and I was busy with the church, with the dance ministry, or I was busy with school because I was dancing at school also,
Right.
or, I would be doing homework or whatever the case was. And, I was purposely not coming home until after she went to work.
Yeah.
Then I go home.
Uh, uh,
And
uh.
then whenever she come home in the morning, she be tired. And if I'm up already for class or whatever, I say, good morning, talking, and then I be going off to school.
Yeah.
So, and then
Just
once things
mean.
started
Just mean.
settling down, yeah, yeah. Once things started settling down, then we actually started spending more time together. I started to realize, okay, I'm your twin, and that is crazy. We
Yeah.
think the same, we sort of act the same. I may be more emotional than she is, but we still are the same person. And so
Right.
we started spending more time together, and so we built a stronger bond. She was just down here visiting me last week.
Yeah.
She came and she stayed for I think it was 3 or 4 days. So we went out eating, went out shopping, did stuff for the business. So yeah, our relationship has gotten a lot stronger and better. And so I personally love it. Yeah.
So would you would attribute it to just simply spending time together?
Yeah. Or
That's
whenever I miss her, like I think because I was just down there and I drove because I've been to Dallas back and forth. I've been to Dallas about 5 times this year
yeah.
already. And so the last time I went, they were already out of town because I was going for my grandmother's birthday. But I
Okay.
went to Dallas first, and then I drove to Marshall, Texas for my grandmother's birthday, and
Got
that was in April. That was, I think that was Easter weekend,
yeah.
or maybe the weekend after Easter when I went down there. And then when I got back to Houston, maybe like a week later, I was texting. I was like, "So I'm ready for you to come see me again."
Wow. That's so
And
cool,
then we
man.
talk on the phone every day. My mom's a talker, so she loves talking on the phone. Sometimes she'll call me 3 times a day and we'll
Yeah.
talk about different things. So she'll call me on the way to work, and then she'll call me when she gets settled at work. Um, so, and vice versa. If my mom hasn't called me in a day, I'll call her like, why haven't you called me? And what are you doing? And when she doesn't answer the phone, I'm like, why are you not answering your phone? you know?
Right.
So, yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool,
hmm
man. But it's amazing. I'm blown away right now. Uh because you saying what helped heal and mend the relationship was just spending time going out.
hmm
And they say I talked about this last week when Terry and I were doing the conversation. So I was part of this marriage collaboration with some of the leading marriage organizations in the country, and we did this thing called it was part of it was a comedy tour. Battery's exhausted,
Better exhausted.
battery's tired. Let me go to another. Now we're going to the cheap camera. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, no, that's wrong one. We'll be right back after these uh messages. Hold on. Um, where is here it is. Now you're about to see the real.
There
Oh,
we go.
now you see what the good camera doesn't show.
Yep.
Um, so let me adjust this light so that's not distracting. Um, so and with this marriage collaborative thing, marriage collective, we did this date night comedy tour, and there's proven science that when a marriage is struggling, if you commit to going on several dates consistently, like one date a week, it enhances your marriage.
Mhm.
Like scientific proof. They did all these studies that dating once a week enhances the level of enjoyment in a marriage. Uh,
Yeah, I can say, from seeing my parents,
yeah,
once me and my brother reached that, because when we were younger, In the summer, my parents would always send us to my grandmother's house for 2 weeks.
That's what I'm talking about.
So they got a break.
Yeah.
But as I got older and me and my brother were able to be at home by ourselves more often, and we wake up on the weekend, this is when we were probably like, I was in middle school. And I'll wake up on a Saturday and it's probably like 10 o'clock. And I'm looking around the house like, where are my kids?
Yeah.
And I call them. I'm like, where y'all at? Oh, we on a date.
Come on.
We all eating. We'll see y'all later. And I'm like, so then they come home with groceries. They come home with food. And so me and brother like, where our food at? Oh, that's why we bought food. So y'all can cook y'all own food. I'm
That's
like,
what I'm talking
okay.
about.
So they go on dates as much as possible weekly. They spend a lot of time together. They work out together, cook together, watch movies together. Whatever they can do to spend time together, that's what they do. Yeah.
And see, here's the beauty. Here's what I know a couple. We did one event in Atlanta, and one cool couple, man, and they were so mushy. I was like, man, they must have been newly married, just got married older. Come to find out, they had been married for over 35 years, and they hit this rough point of their marriage, but they decided that they were going to go out on a date once a week consistently for 1 year. And it said it rejuvenated their marriage. So I've known the value of that for a long time now. But what you just said was, not only does that help the husband-wife relationship, it also helps that parent-child relationship.
Yeah.
That's a huge nugget for me to take away. And that's what I would call that. That's a creative idea. So I want to show this book right quick. This is the other book, The Creative Habit, that I was telling you about.
Oh, is that the author? Twyla?
Yep.
Okay.
Twyla Tharp. She's actually a dance choreographer.
Okay.
So you would enjoy her as well. So some really good nuggets in that book about, just making sure in the busyness of life, making sure you have certain patterns in your life to help you be creative.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. In fact, and having those, she used the word ritual. And like for me, when I'm recording TV, all last week we were recording TV. I was recording this TV show called Kids Beach Club. That's pretty cool. It's on DirecTV, and we were told last week that it now airs in Sri Lanka and India.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. But I have this pattern, this habit that I do when I'm going to the studio in Las Colinas. I wake up and I get all my stuff, and then I get in the car. And the first thing I do when I get in the car is I pull up on my Bible app and listen to the reading of the scripture of a passage. And then when that's over, I just sit in the car and ride in silence and think about the passage, think about my life, and just making sure that, man, God, if you allow me to do this while I'm reaching all these people, I need to make sure you and I are straight. Like, I don't want to minister to other people and you're not ministering to me. So, and it's funny, like doing that every single time I go to record kind of gets me in the deal, and in the creative zone.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So I asked you the question: what can churches do to encourage more people your generation? And you saying invite you all in and be open-minded to ideas and everything. Let me ask you this, and here's another: how has North Garland done well at pouring into you as a young kid, teenager, young adult, growing up in our system and start beginning to adult in our system? What were some things that we did well? And I guess answer this one, then the second part first, maybe. What's some things you wish we would have done so that we can do better for now the new up and coming teenagers, or kids, teenagers, young adults, to help them become even better? So what's something we can do better, and what's some things that we did well? would you say?
So I would say the one thing I really, really love about North Garland is the children's ministry, with, Awana's TNT, the Sunday school, and Wednesday night Bible study. All that really helped shapes who I am. Even in, being in TNT, with Miss Jackie and Miss Rosalind, and with a
Yeah,
couple of the other women who they had this event that they called etiquette class.
yeah,
I
I
really,
remember that.
I really love that one. Because some people say I dress like an old lady, or I dress like, someone's auntie. Oh, that's just my wardrobe. My wardrobe is very, uh, I just look like someone's auntie, and I don't have a
Right.
problem with that. That's just who I am.
Yeah,
But I will say that helps, build some confidence in, who you are as a woman, and just allowed you to make sure you stay true to who you are. So I do really enjoy
that's
the children's
good.
ministry, especially the teachers in the children's ministry.
Right.
You can always go to them and talk to them, and that they'll always give you, that positive feedback, or they'll teach you a lesson if a lesson needs to be taught,
Yeah.
to you, and set you straight.
Yeah.
I will say to help, I know that whenever we had the young adult ministry that they started. And that kind of fell through. That was sort of a bummer. I know, speaking to some of the other people who were part of it, they felt like sometimes we weren't always supported,
Yeah.
in a sense. Or whenever we would come up with, or whenever they would come up with ideas and different things, they felt like there was always someone ready to, you know tell them no, or
Mm,
shoot that idea down, or
yeah.
tell them, just stick to the old way of doing things. And they were just like, no, that's not how we do things. So that's why I said be open-minded, to different ideas. And try to, you can have someone who it's kind of like in the middle, kind of like you are, who can see, the perspective of younger people, but also see the perspective of, much older and mature people. So
Right.
that way there's a nice blend. And so that way there can actually be a conversation there, an open conversation to different ideas that, can happen, and different plans that there can be, moving forward. So I will say, I would like for there to be another, young adult, 1828 ministry. I was trying to remember what the name of the ministry
Yeah.
was. I was like, what is the name of this group? But
Yeah.
yeah, I would like for there to be another 1828, even if I'm not there physically. I would like to see that, because I feel like it could help, with people my age wanting to, establish that relationship with God on their own. Because that's where I am right now in my spiritual journey, where I'm trying to build that relationship with God, my personal relationship with God. So I have my Bible study. My
Yeah.
mom gave me, this book that came from her,
Come on.
her
That Sunday school book.
yeah, the Sunday school book.
Come
Yeah.
on, Arthur Nicholson.
So
Let's
when
go.
she was when she was here, we went over that book a couple of days that she was here. And I was
Let's
like,
go,
since
Shannon.
you're done with that, let me have that. So some days when I don't want to just read a chapter and dissect it, I could read a couple pages from there and dissect that. So that's what I've been doing.
Yo,
So
that's
I
when
feel
I was
like,
your age. That's what I was doing, girl. Get it?
yeah. So
Yeah.
I feel like with 1828, or with another 1828, whether they decide to call that or not, I feel like that can help some of the people my age, who still, have a desire to build that relationship with God, but feel like, they're kind of stuck, or who feel like they don't know where to start.
Yeah.
That would be able to help them get them started, and building that personal relationship with God that they want to build. Yeah, I feel like that would help. And make sure to have someone there who back them up, and support them, and allow them to be creative in their own way.
Yeah.
But make sure they still instill God in everything that they do. Yeah, I
So
would definitely
good.
like for that to happen.
That's so good, man.
Hmm.
Boom. Speaking of young adults, like between that age, did you know Denise Henderson is down in Houston? She
Yeah. So my mom, my mom likes to talk. So Denise was actually in Dallas. She had visited church, and my mom was talking to her, and she texted me the next day. Or she called me that Sunday. She's like, Denise was here, and she lives in Houston, and I didn't know at the time that she lived in
yeah,
Houston. And my mom, and I told my mom that I did want to find a church to attend this year. That was one of my
right.
goals, was to find a church that I could attend to. Because with
Yeah,
COVID and everything was shut down, and we're watch stuff online. But I do like to be physically in the church,
right.
listening to the word and actually singing. That's something I do enjoy. And so my mom, spoke with her, and I got a phone number. So I did meet up with her at
Nice.
this church, and so that's the church that I've been going to. It's called Living Word. So I've been going to that church down here in
Oh,
Houston. Hmm.
let's go. That's
So
exciting, man. Let me find out. We got a North Garland contingent. We do an NGBF North Houston. No.
So yeah,
Yo, that's
I
cool,
have met up
man.
with her. Yeah. Hmm.
Good stuff. Well, Anita, man, I'm so doggone proud of you, girl. I'm
Thank you.
so and man, the best is yet to come. It's like
Hmm.
God's got so much more in store
Yeah.
for you. And so keep growing. Of course, it's weird saying all this stuff on camera because it's for real. Anything I can do to help you,
Hmm.
and Terry, we here for you, man.
Yeah.
Shout out! Can you still step? I'm no man. When y'all came to the steps, when Garland came to the church and stepped, I was like, "Yo, this is
A lot of
amazing!"
people didn't know that I was up there.
Right?
And so they didn't realize who I was until we sat back in the fellowship hall, and a couple people came up to us and was like, "Oh, y'all did such a great job," and they looked at me, and I knew who they were, so I was just staring at them, waiting to see if they would know who I am. They looked and was like, "Arnetta," and I'm like, "Yes, it is me."
Yeah, but that's what
So,
happened with the mask. You knew who everybody
mhm,
was with the mask on,
mhm.
and we
Yeah.
walking past you like, "Who is? How was
Yeah, I knew.
that?"
I knew. So some people noticed or recognized it was me after I went to them and gave them a hug. And
Yeah,
then some people I was like, "Hey, it's Arnetta. I'm coming in for a hug, just so
yeah.
you don't think I'm so weird in front of you hugging you." Yeah, yeah.
That's so
With
good.
the mask just made it. Even now, the mask make it so difficult. Like, even now, whenever I go to work, I'll be like, "Oh, who's this again? Oh, okay, that's you are my
Right,
coworker."
right.
With the
Or
mask, it does make it a little difficult.
and there's some people when they take the mask off, you like, I ain't know they look like that.
You be
You
like,
probably should put it back on. Like,
"Like, what did you look like again?" I'm like, wow, no
right?
judgment, but it's just like you weren't expecting
Yeah,
those particular facial features. You know how you can look at someone's eyes, you can like, okay, I think the rest of your face looks like this. And you take
yeah,
the mask off and you're like, oh no, I was fooled.
yeah.
That is not what you look like. That is not what you look like. But that's okay though. That's okay though.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you fearfully and wonderfully made. We just didn't know it
Yes.
all the way. Yeah,
Yeah. We just didn't. Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
That's good stuff.
Yep.
Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Man,
No
I'm gonna pray
problem.
for you, and I'm gonna pray
Yes.
for us as a church. And
Hmm.
again, so grateful. Oh, tell us. Well, I don't want to get into too many details about your brother because he's
Mm.
now in the military, and
Yes.
want to make sure he stays safe. But your
Hmm.
brother's now in serving the country in the military.
He is.
Yes,
OC is currently deployed overseas, and so every now and then we get a chance to talk to him.
right.
And he'll send his pictures, and he'll call us. This last time he called me, like the time that he called my parents, I was asleep. Because I
Yeah,
think I had worked the night before, and so I was at home and I was tired. I knocked out.
yeah,
But he did call me later that the next. Technically, it was his next day, but it was still the same day for me.
right.
So yeah, so I get a chance to talk to him and send him emails, stuff like that. So that's always, fun, exciting. And sometimes it's weird talking to him now that he's older because he's more mature. And it's
Yeah.
just like, who am I talking to again? Like, is this really my brother? Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
but he even though he was young, little, immature, he still was like that old soul like you. He still
Uh-huh,
was
yeah.
like you could see the mature elements even in the midst of him being, a young boy.
Yes.
And a power move that your dad did had him hanging out in the men's Sunday school class.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome too.
Yeah. Because him and Forrest always hang out. They always hang
Yep,
out. That
yep,
that him and Forrest are like glue. That's his
yep.
boy. He's always
Two
like, I got
young
to call
old
Forrest.
men.
I got to call Forrest. I'm like, okay, call Forrest. And they come home. I gotta go see Forrest. Go see Forrest.
That's so cool.
Yes. So that's him. We're praying for him, sending him love, sending him stuff overseas. So
That's right.
he's
So
he's
we
he's
as a
enjoying it.
church, we can ways that we can be a blessing to the Jackson family is man, call up to the church, get our natives email, get
Hmm.
OC's Junior's email, and send them some stuff overseas, care for them, and buy a wig. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
purchase. This
Yeah.
is
Bye
not
bye bye.
a
Wig.
commercial, but I'm just saying we supporting our sister. and go to the website. And y'all, this is important as a young entrepreneur. Go to her YouTube page. Go to her YouTube page, subscribe to it, comment on it, like it. In fact, if you could hit
Yes,
the
give me
bell,
some critiques, some ideas. I'm always open up for ideas.
yeah,
Comment, should be in
right,
message like, oh, I think this would be great. And we can
right,
have a conversation about it, see if
right,
it'll work, and move forward, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm always open to ideas. I
yeah.
like
Even
creativity.
even if you are a man watching and you like,
Hmm.
man, still go subscribe so you can send
Yeah.
it to the ladies in your family. That's how we
You can
support.
learn how to make a wig, make a
We
wig for
don't
your
we
wife.
don't we don't want to know how to do that. We don't. We are not telling the men at the church like, come on, we gonna have a wig class. No, no, we ain't. We close minded to that. We ain't trying that. I'm tell you that right now.
Well, you can help her style it, and you
Yeah,
can help her critique it.
forget all that, like all that open minded stuff. No, that is we closed minded. Like, hey, no. Can you
That's funny.
imagine that the men of the church making wigs this weekend? Shut the whole church down.
That's
That is
hilarious.
funny. All right,
That
so
is
y'all,
hilarious.
hey, support Arnada and what she's doing. Let me pray for you.
Mhm.
God, thank you so much for Arnada and all that you are doing and have done and continue to do in her life. Thank you for how she was an encouragement to us and you giving us some wisdom through her. I pray that North Garland will be a church that will continue to thrive and reflect you, our Father, and your goodness to all generations. So, God, allow that goodness through all generations to be evident in the community of NGBF. God, thank you so much for sharing an OC and the investment that they've made into Arnada and OC, and continue to allow them, Lord God, to reap that, continue to allow us to glean from them and gain wisdom and encouragement. And God, we pray for OC as he's overseas deployed. I pray that you protect him. God, we pray that you keep him encouraged. And God, we pray that you allow him to feel the love of his community. Allow him not to feel like his church has forgotten about him as he's deployed. So, God, we pray for him. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.